Hi everyone, Bernard here with another little movie review, and we've gone to a number 3 here. We've had this is the third in a franchise, if you like. I can't imagine there'll be too many more of these, but we've gone for an adventure comedy musical today, and it's of course the look forward to. I was looking forward to it anyway. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Please, if you're new to the channel, please push that subscribe button. Push the bell notification, all these little movie reviews. I do TV drama reviews and information vlogs as well. So we're going to have a look at Bill and Ted Face the Music today. Yeah, I mean, I was a fan of the 1989 version, the 1991 version, even though I got panned a bit more on that in a bit. So I was quite looking forward to this in a way, you know, in the same way the sort of Jay and Silent Bob film. I mean, I was quite looking forward to that, but that turned out to be a little bit of a letdown. So how did this sort of pan out? Well, it's a PG rating, 1 hour and 28 minutes. It seemed a bit longer, I'll tell you now, than 1 hour and 28 minutes to me. And it's obviously it's a follow-up, isn't it? I mean, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures actually cost, I think it cost $6 million to make back in 1989 and got back 41 million at the box office. And it still holds an Internet Movie Database rating of 7 out of 10, so that's not too bad. And of course, this new film now acts as a direct sequel to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which followed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in 1991. So that cost a little bit more, 20 million, but only got 38 million back at the box office. So it wasn't fantastic when you take out those other expenses as well. So this is the third instalment on it. It's not based on money, obviously. They've not done it for that sake, have they? Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey got 6.3 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database as it stands at the moment, as I'm recording this in the end of August 2020. So yeah, so it's a bit of a downturn, wasn't it, from the original. It's directed by Dean Parisot, who does a lot of TV stuff. He did Galaxy Quest, which is my sort of favourite comedy sci-fi films, and also did Home Fries, which is another good film. I enjoyed that one. But he does a lot of TV stuff, does a lot of episodes of TV things. Written by Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon. And of course, Alex Winter returns in this with Mr. Keanu Reeves, reprising the role of the respective title characters, and William Sadler reprises his role as a Grim Reaper, which I was quite happy about, but again, a bit more on that later. It also stars a gaggle of other stars. You got Kristen Schaal, Samara Weaving, Bridget Lundy Payne, Anthony Carrigan, Erin Hayes, Jamie Mays, Holland Taylor, Kid Cudi, and Gillian Bell. What's it about? Well, Theodore Ted Logan and William Bill Preston Esquire, the rock band Wild Stallions, of course, have so far failed to write the prophesied song that would unite the world. This is what we need at this time, isn't it? The effects of which have started to cause time and reality to collapse. Of course it has. Ted confides in Bill that he doesn't believe they'll ever write the song. Kelly, the daughter of Rufus, arrives from the future. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the character who played Kelly. Arrives from the future to take Bill and Ted back to meet with the great leader, who tells them they have until 7:17 p.m. So I didn't get my stopwatch ready to see if it sort of worked out with how long they had to do it. I didn't see if it tied in time-wise. That would have been interesting. I'm sure someone will do that. They have until 7:17 p.m. that night to write the song, or reality will collapse. So obviously they're never going to write this song, so they've got to find ways of getting to the song, haven't they? So in comes a little bit of time travelling, which you'd expect. Any good? Well, Rotten Tomatoes liked it. Rotten Tomatoes the critics liked it. It's at 80% positivity rating. It averages 6.7 out of 10. And that's 94 fresh and 23 rotten. So there's a fair proportion of rotten reviews for it, which is I can understand, but again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Audience on Rotten Tomatoes liked it, an 81% positivity rating based on 459 reviews, so no small amount. The Metascore rating, the critics on Metascore, 66%. Again, not great, not fantastic, but not a total disaster. And that's based on 35 critics' reviews. And they do range anywhere between 3.8 out of 10 and 10 out of 10. The lowest mark actually came from Roger Moore on Movie Nation. He only gave 3.8 out of 10. He went on to say, a sentimental and cheerful affair that doesn't amount to much, more than an attempt to tap into their residual good vibes, so he wasn't overly impressed. A sort of middling score, a 6 out of 10 from Sandy Schaefer from Screen Rant. She said, Face of Music is clearly a passion project for the minds behind Bill and Ted, and it results in a sequel that coasts by on its goofy humour and heart. And the guys who really like it, well, up there we've got Leah Greenblatt, 7.5 out of 10. She writes for Entertainment Weekly. She said, mostly the joy comes from watching Reeves and Winton on screen, two holy fools just doing their best to bring light and love and non-heinous riffs, and remind the bleary-eyed citizens of 2020 perhaps of a simpler, sweeter world gone by. Yeah, user rating, Internet Movie Database. Let's go on to that. What's that? Sorry, that was the Metacritic's. Metacritic's user rating is 6.8 out of 10. Very similar actually to the Internet Movie Database. That's what threw me for a moment. That's based on 44 ratings. Yeah, the Internet Movie Database, again, 6.8 out of 10. So exactly the same figure based on 2,870 reviews. So there's quite a lot of reviews in for that score, and that's quite a healthy score. Only a couple of 0.2 behind, obviously, the original, isn't it? Which, a little bit kind, I think, but obviously perhaps, you know, they've not watched the original, I'm not too sure, but to get within 2.2 of the original is quite a good score. Just looking at some of the reviews, I'll just read a couple out. Bar Burp on the 29th of August gave it 6 out of 10 and wrote, unnecessary and dated, but it's okay. I went in with low expectations. I was very sceptical about how early 90s humour was going to translate to 2020. Well, it was late 80s humour, actually. I don't think 90, you know, obviously Bogus Avenger was 91, but I think we got the gist in the late 80s, especially with all the very serious things going on in the world now. Yeah, there's a lot of comments about obviously the problems in the world at the moment and whether this helped cheer people up or had the opposite effect. He goes on to say, I was surprised because it's not as terrible as I thought it would be. It manages to recapture some of the dumb charm of the previous movies. There are a few funny moments, but still it wasn't necessary. The main gripe I had with it is how similar it was to Bogus Journey. Almost the same movie in a lot of ways, so why did we need that after 30 years? Yeah, so if you're going to watch this hoping for something unique, a new brilliant storyline, please, no, you're sort of aiming too high there with this one. Some of the comments, sweet and simple, exactly what we needed. Again, looking at the state of the world at the moment, should have left it alone. You know, don't carry on, but don't try and fix something that wasn't broken in the first place. Although Bogus Journey might have broken it a little bit. I hope this movie gets all the love it deserves, and overall it left a smile on my face. So as you can see, interesting that. My little thoughts, movie game nostalgia thoughts, for what they're worth. Yeah, I did like the original. I mean, reading through the reviews, they say a lot are commenting on the current COVID problems, etc., and saying that this is bringing a bit of joy. And I mean, the whole point of the film is to sort of reunite the Earth and save it from collapsing into a heap. So I suppose that's what we were going to get, wasn't it? I enjoyed, personally, it was a little bit painful to watch for most of it. I did enjoy perhaps the last 20 minutes, and this was mainly because of the introduction of the Grim Reaper, who's one of my favourite characters. I do like Death. I mean, I'm a big fan of Mr. Pratchett, and you know, he's Death in his books, etc. I'm a big fan of Death roles in films. So I did a little vlog on it many months ago about the characters who played Death and stuff like that. But yeah, I do like the Grim Reaper, and he plays it superbly, and that did cheer me up a little bit. And as I said, from then on, I sort of perhaps did enjoy the last 20 minutes, but it was very painful and slow and boring to me to watch. The first hour, certainly the first 55-60 minutes of this film, it was just so repetitive to what we've seen before. It's faring slightly better on the scores, obviously, than Jay and Silent Bob reboot, but not. I don't think there's much really in it for me from the two films as far as any improvement on what's come before. Of course, it's nice to see some of the characters have aged better than others. But is it deserving of those high scores? I mean, there's quite a lot of high scores on there. I think it's debatable whether it is or not. Cinematography was fine, the shooting of it was fine, it was bright, it was cheerful, it was nice. And most of the characters were likeable. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the robot, but the bad robot or the good robot, I wasn't a real big fan of the humour in that little bit. But especially the daughters, I did enjoy Bill and Ted's daughters in it. They were very likeable, and as I said, Death was obviously always my favourite. So he wasn't in it long enough for me. He was only in it for about 5 minutes, which wasn't long enough. So it did cheer me up, but I wouldn't have mind seeing a little bit more of him. One of the reviewers did say it left a smile on the face, and to be honest, it did me. It did leave a smile on my face at the end of the film. So perhaps it works in a way. But could I forget the sort of first hour where I sat a bit po-faced and a bit bored? I don't know. I can't give it that, obviously. Fans of the originals unfortunately seem to be split. I mean, some love it, some don't. So it's not just people who've not watched it for the first time. I think that's the problem with the new audience. I'm not sure they're really gonna buy into it. I mean, as I say, it is a very late 80s, early 90s feel to it, even though they tried to update it slightly, but I don't think it really updated it much humour-wise. And occasionally, it did make, as I say, certainly from the Grim Reaper element, I smiled perhaps a couple of times, but there was nothing in it before then to make me sort of smile or chuckle. Will I go back and... I mean, I won't go back and watch this, I don't think, at any time whatsoever in the future. But I will one day go back and watch the original. So that's all I can say. And perhaps when I watch the original, I'll appreciate this remake a little bit more as well. I'm not too sure. But as I say, I'm not going to forgive it. I'm not going to say, yes, it's a great film because it made me smile at the end and I enjoyed the last 20 minutes, because there was too much in it that wasn't very good in my opinion. It was just more rehash of what we've seen before, and so I'll say it's not great. I mean, I'm going to give it my little rating where I'm not going to put you off as Bill and Ted. If you're certainly Bill and Ted fans, I know you're going to watch it anyway. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10, which is less than a watchable rating, but it's one of those ratings where I certainly don't want to put people off. Bill and Ted fans, I think you're either going to be 1 or 2 out of 10 or 8 or 9 out of 10. I think there's very few in betweenies of scores. You know, you either think, oh, this is wonderful and it's great to have them back on screen, or why have they just done the same sort of thing they did 30 years ago? So you're going to be stuck between those two stools, I think, as far as Bill and Ted fans concerned. Yeah. So my movie game nostalgia rating, I'm not going to say it was an hour and a half wasted. I quite enjoyed it. I say I quite enjoyed the brashness of it, the lightness of it. And obviously it was nice to see the characters again. A lot of the characters, obviously there's new characters, but a lot of the old characters were nice to see as well. Which from an old guy, might be, it's nice to reminisce and stuff like that. So I did appreciate that side of it. But as a film, as entertainment, it was not that great, to be honest with you, but I'm going to get 5.5 out of 10. The poster, well, yeah, the poster, I think the poster's brilliant. I mean, especially if you love Bill and Ted, there's nothing wrong with that poster, is there? I mean, you can't really go far wrong, could you? You got the phone booth as well, which is fantastic. You got the phone booth on it. That's all we want, isn't it? That's what us all retro, we want the phone booth, and I think that's great for fans of Bill and Ted or non-fans of Bill and Ted. I'm going to give the poster 7 out of 10, which is one of my highest poster scores for quite a while, actually. Please let me know in the comments if you get to watch this. If you did like the originals and you get to watch this. As I said, it's interesting, isn't it? The original got 7 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database. The sequel, Bogus Journey, only got 6.3, was it, out of 10, and this has got 6.8. So it's not quite as good as the original, but yeah, I think it's a little bit high, that score. Whether it'll come down, I'll say it's quite early days, isn't it? Whether that'll come down over the months, come down to nearer the Bogus Journey score, I'm not too sure, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please check my links on screen. And you can get onto my little website, moviegamenostalgia.com. That's absolutely fantastic for old, rare DVDs, movie posters from the 1990s and 2000s. No Bill and Ted posters, I'm afraid. It was before I had the video shop. Those 2 films came out, unfortunately, so I never had those in stock. And some board games on there as well. So if you can have a look on moviegamenostalgia.com, much appreciated. And even if you just have a look round, it's good for my Google Analytics and footfall, etc. That'd be fantastic. Right, I'll be back soon, and hopefully you'll join me for another little movie review or a TV drama review or an information vlog in the very near future. Please, all I can ask is you all stay safe, everyone. Please take care of yourself, take care of your friends, take care of your family. Let's all take a look after each other. And I'll see you all again, hopefully, very, very soon. Bird is saying goodbye for now. Thanks for watching.